right, it is actually very pretty Sunday morning, and this is not model train related, but that's why I don't work on my trains. I usually have other projects I'm working on. This one is our deck. So I've talked about it, I've had pictures on Facebook, but I thought I'd share something on YouTube. We had a cedar deck in here, and the cedar never took the stain. It was beautiful the first 2-3 years, and maybe I'll intersperse some pictures. Some of the boards had finally decayed, dried up a bit, and we hemmed and hawed about which way to go. But we decided to get rid of the boards. We were going to go composite, but it wasn't in the budget, other than cheap composite, which brings its own list of problems. So I had to rip up all the boards. I was very pleased to find out that my under support system, which some of this is going on 20 years old, from the very first deck I built out here when we added this addition on. This actually was added to the house in 2002, but the workers did such a beautiful job blending it. People don't realize it's actually an add-on to the house. But anyhow, so I ripped up all the plankings. I did have to replace some wood on the fascias here, and where I have decorative posts where they're not true weight support posts, and they're just going to help break up the railings. They're only attached from the board up. I tend to double up the boards behind the fascia, put just a little additional weight support in there. So what I did was take everything off, and anything that looked like it was wrong I've replaced. And then something I just like to do, after I take the boards out, I will put a coating of exterior paint and then sealant on them, which is what I've been doing the last day or so, just on the top of the boards. And it really is a great key for helping them last longer, because it's on the top where they'll start rotting out. As the moisture goes down, it follows around the boards and it gets on the top of these boards, so that's where you'll start to see rotting out. That's what we did have happen over here, because we had this giant rose bush, and we've got this large bush from our neighbors that hangs over. This is the one area of the deck that gets a lot of shade, so the moisture stays there. So you water the roses, you water the flowers, and blah, blah, and the moisture just stayed there. And we did get some rot in here, and I had to replace 2 fascia boards, but the structure boards are all in great shape. They're ugly because I throw paint on them every few years, just to keep the tops protected. But you can go out and buy that $20 for 50-foot tape. But you know, if you think of it, these are each these joists here are 20-some feet long, or actually they're 10 feet long, sistered together up here. You know, that's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 feet at, you know, it's $200, $300, $400 of that weather stripping tape. And I find that a little bit of sealant, and if you do find a crack, you put some wood filler in it, and it's a lot cheaper than the tape, and it lasts just as long. But what I did yesterday, I had to remove the Joyce's grand entrance. When I first built this deck, Joyce and my daughter Elizabeth actually designed the deck, because Joyce wanted something grand that when you sat over here, you could look out and see what used to be a flower garden here. Now it's my small fruits garden. I have raspberries and strawberries and blueberries that grow. And we did have some nice rose bushes back here that we've since gotten rid of. Now we've got a couple small ones. We didn't have the shed at the time. But, excuse me. Just the grand view. She didn't want any railings or anything in the way here. So I had this, it's 10 feet wide, grand step down into the yard. Our primary steps are over here, and I had to replace all these. The joists, the stringers were rotted, and when we got our driveway redone in the fall, it changed the height. So I am in the process of preparing to adjust this. In the old days, the top stair was at the same level as the riser, or the top stair was at the same level as the decking boards, and as you can see, there's a subtle difference there. So I am working on adjusting that. So I'm gonna have to shim it up a bit, and I've just got some experimental shims to give me the rough idea, because it's really basically a decking board distance difference in height. But we painted the post black because I really wanted to put new metal post covers. I did not want to have to dig out the post and replace them, and since they're in good enough shape, I didn't want to do that. You know, they've aged a bit, so they have some little funky bends to them as time has gone on, but I can adjust those. But we are doing a we're gonna do sort of a black highlight color to go with the black table, and we've got a, well, that swing's going. We're getting rid of the swing because we got a bigger table than that one and some new chairs. But the furniture is black. The wood's going to be, these are the new boards. They'll eventually be coated. But we're going to clear coat them and to see if we like it clear coated. But I want to get that in, and then I got to cut the steps, and I've got to put steps over there, but I got to get a new one new stringer over there because one of the stringers over there is rotted out. All of these stringers were good except this one on the end I had to rip out, but I had to find, there's a shop in town that does have this same size and dimensional stringers, so I got to go get that. We did get all new stringers here, and it's in the same color as the deck wood. I'm not going to do that here, but all the steps will be in there. So that's what I've been working on. Other than even though I had 2 days off with rain, I came out, but tearing out these boards because so many of the screws were rotted, and you've got to pry them up carefully or you destroy the boards. So I worked very slowly and carefully to get the screws out one way or the other, and we'll go from there. I just have to cut some of these long steps down here. This is called cedar tone. It's actually just western pine that's been stained to look like western red cedar. But it should be, these boards are actually true 5/4 board. They're actually 5 1/4 inches, as opposed to most 5/4 board decking boards, which are actually only an inch, because dimensional lumber is never the size it claims to be except in length. But anyhow, that's what we're doing. So today's job is I want to get these steps set, and I'm going to start putting the boards in, and then I'll chop them all off as we go along. But that's the goal. We are going to try to get as many of these boards in. I might even be able to walk on this deck again by the end of the day. We'll see. We'll see. So you can see what my day was yesterday. It was dumping all the this is a 10 cubic yard dumpster, and when I was done crawling around and fixing things underneath and painting the post, I had to tear out 2 rose bushes here that you hate to see go, but they'd gotten some rot in them, and I needed them out of the way so I could work on things here anyhow. You know, the coloring doesn't look great right now. I'll probably talk myself into repainting the fascia boards. because I'm not happy. I got some paint on them. It was really windy yesterday. Painting with outdoor exterior paint when it's windy, not fun. Globs blowing everywhere. But then when I got done with that, we had our driveway done last year, and we've got a disaster section of our yard, which you can't see, but you guys can get a tour of the house. Side door. If you go in that door, you go straight downstairs to my layout, or train table, or whatever I call it. But we had a driveway redone last year, and so they left a lot of debris piled up here, and we actually used to have a 55-foot Bavarian pine tree in here, which we had taken out a couple of years ago. But my yard, I've been very happy with my yard. As an old man, I've become much more appreciative of my green grass yard. I just like grass. I don't want all kinds of plants and everything, but that's the house. And again, by maybe some standards, people think, oh, you guys, Americans have bigger houses than, well, yes and no. But this is actually this is the house. It's just, it was originally a 2-bedroom house. 2-bedroom, 1 bath. You have 1 bedroom there, 1 bedroom on the back side of the house with a bathroom in between, and that's the living room. And then there was a eat-in kitchen, and that was the house. And then the previous owners from us back in 1987, they took the attic and converted it to a bedroom, and of course I've got that large basement. But yeah, I got this area, so they left a lot of debris, and you can see there's still all kinds of pebbles and rocks here that I'm not going to be able to grow grass until I get it all out. So Joyce and I spent yesterday evening, after me working on the deck all day, digging out more of the rocks, and it's finally time to put some soil down here and try to grow grass again. I also need to repair my neighbor's part of their yard that the driveway people damaged. I mean, it comes with it. But anyhow, so there, you now see the little house. Joyce gets upset. Oh, people can see the house number. Well, yeah, but our lives are so out there anyhow, it's not hard to get the information on people. So I'm not giving any secrets away. And so that's what we're up to. So hopefully today I'll get the boards in. Talk to y'all later. Okay, so I got the first set of steps in. These are the main access steps. I'll sand the edges down later. I also have to move this pole because we had lower rise. I did have to jump these up. It's still within code, but you have 1 taller step and then 3 slightly shorter. So you're going about 7 1/4 and then 6 3/4, 6 3/4. So it's about 3/4 of an inch difference there. But I put these steps in because it gives me an idea of how far I had to raise the steps to account for the boards. And there's about a 1/16 of an inch difference. Once I screw boards down, we'll be good. So I'm getting ready to start laying boards over here. The first board's the important one. I got to cut it around the drain pipe so it slides up, and then make sure it's square, because if that one's not square, everything coming this way will be out of square. So I got to get that one right.
8 hours later.
All right, it is a little bit after 8 o'clock tonight, and well, I stopped working about 6 o'clock. Family came over. It's Sunday. We have our family get together. So my grandson helped me a little bit, but really wanted Opa to go play other things. And as tired as Opa was, Opa went and played. I was really hoping to get this all in, but as you can see, I only got a third in. I guess I was too ambitious. Not all these boards are set in, but if you're wondering what the tennis racket's for, that is my carpenter bee abuser, because you put new wood down and carpenter bees just come out of nowhere and they want to start burrowing in, and I am not cruel to any form of bee. Even wasp, I try to just gently persuade them to go away, but carpenter bees, those dudes will eat my wood up, and I show no mercy. But yeah, I need to get my tools up, and I guess my goal was to get this all done by Sunday evening, but I didn't even get that far, and I wanted to cut all those ends off down there and get them in the garbage bin, which I rented for 3 days, so they're picking it up tomorrow, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately. So anyhow, that's where we're at, and guess I'm a little disappointed in myself, but it got hot today. It was mid 80s, and the sun comes up over here, and it's just up here until about 6 o'clock in the evening when it finally gets past this corner of our house. So it's just blistering sun here. You can see we got out our deck umbrella to help a little bit. Unfortunately, the sun is still low enough in the sky at this time of year that the umbrella really didn't help a lot, which is why I've got a brand new umbrella sitting in the garage waiting for me to get it out. But it is what it is. So that is what I've been working on now, to put everything away. And I'm sure there's a million architects out there, but I was pleased with how strong the support structure was. The joists were all in good shape, and I just slap a new coat of protected on it to keep it good for another few years. But it's going slow, but it's going in. Got a really cool tool, but maybe I'll show that later. New to me, because it's been 10 years since I built a deck. But it's a new nailing device that really lets you put in screws so easily and on the angle, so you don't have the screws popping up on top. Anyhow, I'll let y'all go. Take care.